Hello viewers, in this video we'll see Walter's model. Okay, dividend theories are basically classified into theories of relevance and theories of irrelevance. Under theories of relevance, we have Walter model and Gordon's model. And under the theories of irrelevance, we have Modigliani-Miller's approach. Okay, in this video, we'll see about the Walter's model, and in our upcoming videos, we'll see Gordon model and Modigliani-Miller's approach. Before we go into the problem, we'll see what this Walter model says. Professor James E. Walter argues that the dividend policy affects the value of the firm. Okay, here the Walter says that dividend policy will affect the value of the firm. Okay, and this Walter model is based on the relationship between the two important factors. The two important factors are rate of return and the cost of capital. Okay, this two important factors plays an important role in deciding the dividend policy, and it also affects the value of the firm. And according to the Walter's model, if R is greater than K, here R is nothing but the rate of return and K is the cost of capital. Okay, if the R is greater than K and it is termed as a growth firm. Okay, and the firm should retain the earnings. Okay, if the R is greater than K, the firm should not distribute the profit as dividend. They have to retain the earnings in the firm. Okay, it should distribute the earnings if R is lesser than K. Okay, if the R is lesser than K, then it is said to be a declining firm, and the shareholders can earn a higher return by investing elsewhere. Okay, so the firm has to distribute the profit as dividend so that the shareholders can invest in some other securities. Okay, if the firm has R is equal to K, then it is termed as a normal firm, and in that case shareholders are indifferent between retention and distribution of earnings. Okay, thus Walter has related dividend policy with investment opportunities of the firm. Okay, once again I'll repeat, if R is greater than K, it is said to be a growth firm. In that case the firm has to retain the profit. Okay, and if R is lesser than K, the firm is said to be declining firm, and the firm has to distribute the profit as dividend to the shareholder so that they can invest in other securities. And if R is equal to K, then it is said to be normal firm. Okay, now we'll see the assumptions of this Walter model. This Walter model is based on the following assumption. That is, the first one is retained earnings represent the only source of financing for the firm. Okay, it consider retained earning is the only source for financing. And the next one is the return on the firm's investment remains constant. Okay, the return, that is rate of return, remains constant, and the cost of capital of the firm is also constant. Okay, and the firm has an infinite life. That is, the firm will goes forever. Okay, it do not have any end. And next one is all the earnings are distributed or reinvested in the firm. Okay, the earnings of the firm can be distributed as dividend or it can be reinvested in the firm like retained earnings. And next one is earning per share and dividend remains constant. Okay, the earning per share, EPS, and the dividend remains constant, and these are the assumption, and the Walter model is based on this assumptions. Okay, now we'll see the formula of this Walter model. Yes, here we have MP is equal to D plus R divided by K into E minus D divided by K. Here MP is nothing but the market price of an equity share, and D is equal to dividend per share, and R is the rate of return, internal rate of return, and E is the earnings per share, and K is nothing but cost of capital. Okay, using this formula we can find out the market price of the equity share. Okay, and this dividend will not be normally given in the problem, so we have to find that dividend per share. For that the formula is EPS into payout ratio. Okay, the EPS will be given, that is earning per share will be given in the problem, that should be multiplied by the payout ratio. Okay, payout ratio is nothing but the dividend payout ratio. Okay, payout ratio refers to the proportion of earnings a firm pays to its shareholder in the form of dividend. Okay, payout ratio is nothing but it is the proportion of earning paid by the company to the shareholder in the form of dividend, and it is expressed as a percentage of company's total earning. Okay, and retention ratio, this is also an important term in this chapter. Retention ratio refers to the percentage of company's earnings that are not paid out as dividend. Okay, the other part of payout ratio, that is payout ratio is the proportion which is distributed to the shareholder, and the retention ratio is the proportion which is retained by the company as profit itself. Okay, which is not distributed to the shareholders, that is retention ratio. Okay, and inference to this Walter model is the optimum payout ratio for a growth firm is nil, that is 0%, because as we already said that for a growth firm it is good to not to distribute the profit to the shareholders, it is better to retain the profit. Hence the optimum payout ratio for the growth firm is nil here. The payout ratio for a normal firm is irrelevant because there won't be any optimum payout ratio, and optimum payout ratio for a declining firm is 100%, that is the profit is to be distributed, 100% profit is to be distributed to the shareholders, and they can invest in any other securities. And next one is higher the retention ratio, higher is the value of the firm, and vice versa, that is if it is lesser, that is retention ratio is lower, will be the value of the firm. Okay, if it is higher, higher will be the value of the firm, if it is lower retention ratio, and lower will be the value of the firm. Okay, now we'll see the problem. The earnings per share of a company are rupees 10 and the rate of capitalization applicable to the company is 12% and the rate of return on investment is 8%. Using Walter's formula, compute the market price of the company's share if the payout ratio is 50%. Okay, in this problem we have EPS, that is earning per share is 10, and rate of capitalization applicable to the company, that is 12%, that is K, and rate of return on investment, this is R. Okay, and the payout is 50%. Using this information we can calculate the market price. Okay, here D we have to find, and R it is given, that is 8%, so we can write it as 0.08, and E, that is earning per share, that is 10, and cost of capital is 12% here, so we can write 0.12, and D we have to find using this EPS and payout ratio. EPS into payout ratio will get D as 5. Okay, if we substitute in that formula, okay, that is MP equal to D plus R divided by K multiplied by E minus D the whole divided by K. If we substitute, we'll get 8.33 divided by 0.12 and it gives 69.44 rupees, and this is the market price of the share. Okay. Now we'll see one more problem. Yes, here we have the problem. The cost of capital and rate of return on investment of JJ Limited is 10% and 15% respectively. Both cost of capital and rate of return was given. Cost of capital is 10% and the rate of return is 15%. The company has 1 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each outstanding and its earning per share are rupee 5. Okay, EPS is 5 and the company is having 1 lakh equity shares. Number of equity shares is 1 lakh and the value of share per share is rupee 10. Okay, and we have to calculate the value of the firm to the following situation using Walter's model: 100% retention, 50% retention and no retention. Okay, comment on the results. Okay, if 100% is the retention, then the payout is 0%. Okay, and if 50% is the retention, 50% is the payout. Okay, and if no retention means 100% payout here. Okay, we have to work out, that is calculate this market price under this three situation, that is 0% payout, 50% payout and 100% payout. Okay, let's start doing the problem. First we'll work out with 100% retention. 100% retention means 0% payout. Okay, and I have written the K, value of K, R and E. Okay, therefore D is equal to E into payout. Here is 5. 5 into 0% will get 0. Okay, and if we substitute in that formula, we'll get rupees 75, and 75 is the market price of the share. And now we have to calculate value of the firm. For that, the formula is number of shares into market price. We know the number of shares because it's given in the problem, that is 1 lakh. That should be multiplied by the market price. We found 75 rupees. So we'll get 75 lakh. This is the value of the firm. Okay. If 100% retention, the value of the firm will be 75 lakh. And next we'll work out with 50% retention. Okay, 50% retention means 50% payout. Okay, therefore D will be E into payout. 5 into 50% will get 2.5. And the other things remains the same. Okay, if we substitute in that formula, we'll get 62.50. This is the market price of the share when retention is 50%. Okay, and now we have to calculate the value of the firm, and the formula is number of shares into market price. So we'll get 62,50,000. Okay, and next we have to work out for this no retention. No retention is equal to 100% payout. So D is equal to E into payout. Here D is 5 rupees. Okay, and the other thing, that is the K and R remains the same. Only the D changes. Okay, if we substitute in the formula, we'll get 50 rupees market price. And now we have to calculate the value of the firm using this market price. Number of shares is 1 lakh into 50 will get 50 lakh is the market price. Okay. Now we have to comment on the results. See, if the retention is 100%, the market value of the firm is 75 lakh. And if it is 50%, the market value is 62 lakh 50,000. And if it is 0%, it's 50 lakh is the market value of the firm. Okay, it is clear that if the retention is high, the value of the firm is high. Okay, and if the retention is low, the value of the firm is low. Because see, 100% we have 75 lakh value, and for 0% the value is 50 lakh. Okay, this shows clearly that retention is high, the value of the firm will be high. Hence, it is important to maintain the highest retention. okay, in order to maximize the value of the firm. This is how you have to comment the results. Okay, I hope now you are clear with this Walter's model. In our next video, we'll see some more problems in this Walter's model, and I have given you a small problems for you to practice. Thank you for your patient listening.